Hey everyone, Brad here. I hope you're all having a great day. It's a beautiful spring day here in Canada. If you can see over my shoulder, you'll see the city that I live in, and a lot of snow. But that's how it is here, and that's cool. But I do have to say that despite the snow on the ground, man, it is way warmer than it was just even a week ago. It's right now, it's about 0 degrees Celsius, which is 32 Fahrenheit, so just starting to melt. In the sunshine, even a little warmer, maybe a couple degrees here and there. So hey, let's embrace that for what it is. So anyway, what is this video about? I love this car, so if any of you have seen my other videos, you see that I talk an awful lot about it and all the great things it does for me, including the how did it perform in the bitter cold, which we just got out of, and of course that my range had dropped quite a bit. So this video is A, because I just want to get the hell out of my house and it's beautiful outside, so we can do that, and B, just to let you know that yes, indeed my range did come back. No surprise there, of course. It's exactly what I expected, so I wanted to make sure that you folks knew that too. So obviously I would not expect any kind of quasi-permanent damage from any of the really bitter colds. So as always, if that's something you're interested in, please stick around. And as always, if you're interested in my long-term ownership of this car, please hit those like and subscribe icons, because I have had this thing for almost exactly 1 year, actually. I'm sure I'll do a 1-year video of it just to prove what a big dork I am, I guess. But in that year, through cold weather and warm weather, I've rolled 22,000 kilometers, just about, which is just about 14,000 miles. So, I've got some good seat time in the car, and which I feel is some pretty good experience. So if you're interested in knowing anything about that, as always, please send me questions. I love answering them. I love the fact that you folks actually seem to care that I make these silly videos. So that's even better. But along with that, though, one thing I have not done is really kind of religiously keep a solid track of the range. Yes, I kind of keep it anecdotally, and I do set the trip odometer pretty regularly when I start. But halfway through the day, if I'm home and I know I got to drive a lot, I'll plug the thing back in and charge it back up. So that blows my the scientific nature or the statistical validity of my measurements, of course. So that happens. But what I'm going to do now, especially because it's the full year, I think it's a good way for me, a good point for me to start over with measuring exclusively, because another thing that I'm really interested in is, again, now that I'm kind of fine-tuning it a little more, is to see what difference the steel wheels and winter tires make. Before I kind of really didn't think I noticed much, but again, I wasn't really measuring it very well. So that's what I'm going to do. It's March 10th today, so I maybe, depending on what the next week goes, I might be a little aggressive and put the summers back on. And luckily they're all seasons, but high efficiency summers are not what I would call it particularly good at all in the snow. See my video on that too, and of course other people's opinions I completely respect. So what else can I look at here? So but just to put a finer point on it and to continue my rambling, I will say that in the really cold, driving aggressively but with a pretty good heat on too, I got at most about 30 kilometers on a full charge, which is like 20 miles. So there are things that I can do and that I'm going to try to do in the next cold snap and the next winter to really see if I can minimize how much that range diminishes. Certainly running the heater on high and driving really fast ish on freeway traffic and things like that has a huge effect. So I'm looking to get instead of having it cut down to about 60%, I figure it's pretty reasonable that I could get about 80% of the typical, room temperature range that I could expect. So stay tuned for that as well. So what else can I say that I'm looking at here? I ramble on in these videos, so again, I thank you folks for watching. But as I end this one, do I still love this car? We're just come out of a pretty decent cold snap. It's finally warm-ish, The car's been great. I've never been cold. I don't feel really that there are any compromises in driving this car at all, other than obviously the minor, you know, if I really want to keep the range up, I got to knock the heat back a little. So in the good old days of gas, you know, gas powered cars, all that heat was just bonus, because it was either that or it was wasted. In this case, you know, these cars are so efficient when they run on that if you do actually use the heat, it takes away from the efficiency or the energy that could be dedicated to pushing the damn thing down the road. So yeah, I can deal with that, though. Again, it was a little bit of an expectation change on my part. You know, maybe I was pretty optimistic. You know, I'm kind of I try to be a forward thinker and an enthusiast for when it comes to technology and the future and things like that, and all the positive things they can do. That doesn't mean that I think everything is improvement, but certainly in this case I think it is. So anyway, more rambling, sorry about that. What I do also want to say is I really want to put a special shout out to one of my subscribers, GP2003 GT. You know, hey, I really appreciate all of your viewership as well, but also the fact that this fine gentleman shared my videos on Facebook, which again, I do this as a hobby. I do this as, it takes almost no time. Clearly I'm an amateur, as you can tell by my videos and my content and my filming and all the rest of that crap. But that was a really big help. So I got a lot more viewership out of that. So that's really great. Thank you. I do not yet have a Brad on Cars Facebook page, but I may just have to do that. I did build one briefly, and then I didn't pay any attention to it, so they unpublished it. So anyway, after all of this, thank you all. I really, as always, appreciate every second you folks spend watching. I love all the questions. I love all the feedback, good and bad. Luckily, it's been mostly good. And as always, if there's anything you want to know, please don't be shy. I'm a pretty easygoing guy, I like to think. So send me what you want. Any silly questions. There are no such thing, right? So please do that. And as always, if you've made it this far, please throw me a subscribe. That would be a big help. I'm getting close to one of my initial subscriber goals to make it worth my while and to make it worth charging my GoPro. So anyway, folks, all the best. I really appreciate it, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.